The logic is simple. If you do right things, the right things will happen to you even without your intent. With this beautiful saying, a very good morning to all my dear students. I hope that you all are in good health. This is Shreya Jadhav welcoming you all to my e-learning channel. And today we are going to do English grade 9 chapter 6 My Childhood written by APJ Abdul Kalam. So before starting with the reading and explanation of the chapter, let us know something about the author. Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam was the 11th President of India. He was born on October 15, 1931 in Rameshwaram, Tamil Nadu. He studied physics and aerospace engineering and became a scientist. He served in Defense Research and Development Organization and in the Indian Space Research Organization for nearly 4 decades. He is known as the Missile Man of India. Kalam was very popular among the children. He often encourages them with his high powered philosophy. He was an excellent writer also and was a true nationalist. He died on July 27, 2015 due to a cardiac attack. Introduction for answer. Dear students, always remember whenever you are appearing for your exams, always keep in mind to start your answers with introduction. This creates a good impact. So here it is. Prose, prose name, My Childhood. Author's name, APJ Abdul Kalam. Genre, autobiography. Summary. My Childhood is taken from the autobiographical book Wings of Fire by Dr. Kalam. So, the summary of the chapter My Childhood is: the story reflects on the harmony and prejudice present in the Indian society. This influencing theme is expressed through the accounts of Kalam's childhood. In fact, we can rise in life if we have strong determination and dedication. My Childhood is an extract taken from the autobiographical book Wings of Fire by Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. Here, Dr. Kalam, who was one of the greatest scientists of India and the 11th President of India, gives an account of his childhood days. His journey from the middle class family in Rameshwaram, Tamil Nadu, to the President's house has not been a smooth ride. He worked hard and faced all the challenges of life. This great scientist and missile man of India was born in a Muslim family in island town of Rameshwaram, Tamil Nadu. In his childhood, he was greatly influenced by his parents, his teachers, and his friends. His father, Jainulabdin, was not much educated, but he was very generous and kind person. He was not rich but provided a secure childhood to his children. Abdul inherited honesty and self discipline from his father and faith in goodness and deep kindness from his mother. Kalam earned his first wages by helping his cousin Samshuddin, who distributed newspaper in Rameshwaram. In his childhood, he had three close friends: Ramanand Shastri, Aravinda, and Shiva Prakashan. Once he was in fifth class. A new teacher asked him not to sit in front seat along with the Brahmin boys. Abdul found Ramadana Shastri weeping as he went to the last row. This made a lasting impression on Abdul. Abdul was also greatly influenced by his science teacher, Shiva Subramaniam Iyer. He learned the lessons of breaking social barriers from him. Iyer invited him to his house for a meal. His wife was an Orthodox Brahmin who refused to serve food to a Muslim boy in her so called ritually pure kitchen. Iyer served him with his own hands and sat down beside him. The next time, when Abdul visited the house of Shiva Subramaniam, his wife served him with her own hands. Thus, he was successful in changing the conservative attitude of his wife. For higher education, he sought permission from his father to leave Rameshwaram and study at the district headquarters in Ramanathampuram. His father said, Abdul, I know you have to go away to grow. Does the seagull not fly across the sun alone and without a nest? So, this is all about the summary of my childhood. Now, let us start the reading of the chapter. I was born in the middle class family, Tamil family, in the island town of Rameshwaram in the erstwhile Madras state. My father, Jainulabdin, had neither much formal education nor much wealth. Despite these disadvantages, he possessed great innate wisdom and a true generosity of spirit. He had an ideal helpmate in my mother, Ashima. I do not recall the exact number of people she fed every day, but I am quite certain that far more outsiders ate with us than all the members of our family put together. I was one of many children, a short boy with rather undistinguished looks, born to tall and handsome parents. We lived in our ancestral house, which was built in the middle of the 19th century. I was fairly large Pakka house made up of limestone and brick on the Mosque Street in Rameshwaram. My estranged father used to avoid in all the inessential comforts and luxuries. However, all necessities were provided for in terms of food, medicine, or clothes. In fact, I could say mine was very secure childhood, both materially and emotionally. So, over here, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam is talking about his childhood incident that he was born in a family, and in the family specifically, the father was not that much educated, but still, he had really good heart and he was very nice person, although he was a bit strict. The mother was also not that much educated, but she was having a huge heart. How can we come to know that? Because she used to feed plenty of people the whole day. Moreover, to that, his parents were really good looking, but he was a person who had a moderate features. They used to live in their ancestral house which was probably made in the middle of the 19th century. Moreover, to that, his father was a bit strict not to waste money, but he was able to complete all the basic necessities like food, clothing, medicines, shelter, everything. He can say that his childhood was very secure, materially also and emotionally also. The Second World War broke out in 1939 when I was 8 years old for reasons I have never been able to understand. A sudden demand of tamarind seeds erupted in the market. I used to collect the seeds and sell them to a provision shop on Mosque Street. A day's collection would fetch me the princely sum of 1 anna. My brother in law, Jalaluddin, would tell me some stories about the war which I could later attempt to trace in the headlines in Dinamani. Our area, being isolated, was completely unaffected by the war. But soon India was forced to join the Allied forces and something like a state of emergency was declared. The first casualty came in the form of the suspension of trains halt at Rameshwaram station. The newspapers now had to be bundled and thrown out of the moving trains on the Rameshwaram road between Rameshwaram and Dhanushkodi. That forced my cousin Shamsuddin, who distributed newspaper in Rameshwaram, to look for a helping hand to catch the bundles, and if naturally I filled the slot. Samsuddin helped me earn my first wages. Half a century later, I can still feel the surge of pride in earning my own money for the very first time. So, over here, it was the time, the year 1939. At that time, as the Second World War was going on, there were certain restrictions which were imposed in the nation, and the emergency was declared. At that time duration, their particular area was not affected more. Why? Because they were living in an isolated place. Moreover to that, his cousin, whose name is Samshuddin, he used to distribute papers and he needed a helping hand because of the workload. So, APJ Abdul Kalam's first job was to distribute newspaper. And even after half a century, when he recalls back his memories of his first wages, he doesn't feel ashamed of it. But on the other hand, he feels really very proud that such an early age he started earning and he got his first wage. Every child is born with some inherited characteristics into a specific socio-economic and emotional environment and trained in certain ways by figures of authority. I inherited honesty and self discipline from my father. From my mother, I inherited faith in goodness and deep kindness, and so did my three brothers and sister. I had three close friends in my childhood: Ramanand Shastri, Aravinda, and Shiva Prakashan. All these boys were from Orthodox Hindu Brahmins family. As children, none of us ever felt any difference amongst ourselves because of our religious differences and upbringings. In fact, Ramanand Shastri was the son of Pakshi Lakshmana Shastri, the highest priest of Rameshwaram temple. Later, he took over the priesthood of Rameshwaram temple from his father. Arvinda went into the business of arranging transport for visiting pilgrims, and Shiva Prakashan became a catering contractor for the Southern Railway. So over here, one more incident APJ Abdul Kalam is sharing, that he had inherited all good things from his mother and father, and he is always thankful for that thing. Moreover, to that, he had three best friends in his childhood times. All the three were coming from an Orthodox Brahmin family, but none of them ever thought of making a discrimination between them and Abdul. Moreover, to that, on later stages, one of them became the main priest of the Rameshwaram temple, the other had started up with the business of transport, and the third one started with a catering contract with Southern Railways. During the annual Sri Sita Rama Kalyanam ceremony, our family used to arrange boats with special platform for carrying idols of the Lord from the temple to the marriage site, situated in the middle of pond called Ramatirtha, which was near our house. Events from Ramayana and from the life of the prophets were the bedtime stories my mother and grandmother would tell the children in our family. One day, when I was in fifth standard at Rameshwaram Elementary School, a new teacher came to our class. I used to wear a cap which marked me as a Muslim, and I always sat in the front row with Ramanand Shastri, who wore the sacred thread. The new teacher could not stomach a Hindu priest's son sitting with a Muslim boy. In accordance to the social ranking, as the new teacher saw it, I was asked to go and sit on the back bench. I felt very sad, and so did Ramanand Shastri. He looked utterly downcast, so as I shifted my seat in the last row, the image of him weeping when I shifted to the last row left a lasting impression on me. So over here, one more incident is being shared, that APJ Abdul Kalam's mother used to recite bedtime stories of Ramayana and other prophets. Moreover to that, when he was in class 5, at that time duration when the new teacher came, she came to know that APJ Abdul Kalam was sitting with one of the Hindu boys. And at that time duration, the teacher told that because of the social ranking, he was not allowed to sit near to each other. And he was asked to sit at the last row. At that time duration, his friend Ramanand Shastri cried a lot. And at that time duration, this made a lasting impression on him. After school, we went home and told our respective parents about the incident. Lakshmana Shastri summoned the teacher and in our presence told the teacher that he should not spread the poison of social inequality and communal intolerance in the minds of the innocent children. He bluntly asked the teacher to either apologize or quit the school and the island. Not only did the teacher regret his behavior, but the strong sense of conviction Lakshmana Shastri conveyed ultimately reformed this young teacher. So now what happened? These little small children went to their home and they told their parents about the whole incident which took place in the classroom. At that time, Lakshmana Shastri went to the teacher and in presence of everyone he told that he should stop spreading these sort of poison of social inequality, because this type of mindset should not be inculcated in the innocent children. And he bluntly told the teacher that either he is supposed to apologize or he is supposed to quit the school and the island. At that time duration, the teacher also regretted the behavior which he had committed, And then he got a strong sense and he had become a changed person. On the whole, the small society of Rameshwaram was very rigid in terms of segregation of different social groups. However, my science teacher, Shiva Subramaniam Iyer, though an Orthodox Brahmin, with a very conservative wife, was something of a rebel. He did his best to break social barriers so that people from varying backgrounds would mingle easily. He used to spend hours with me and would say, Kalam, I want you to develop so that you are on par with the highly educated people of the big cities. One day, he invited me to his home for a meal. His wife was horrified at the idea of a Muslim boy being invited to dine in her ritually pure kitchen. She refused to serve me in her kitchen. Shiva Subramaniam Iyer was not perturbed, nor did he get angry with his wife, but instead served me with his own hands and sat down beside me to eat his meal. His wife watched us from behind the kitchen door. I wondered whether she had observed any difference in the way I ate rice, drank water, or cleaned the floor after the meal. When I was leaving his house, Subramaniam Iyer invited me to join him for dinner again the next weekend. Observing my hesitation, he told me not to get upset, saying, once you decide to change the system, such problems have to be confronted. When I visited his house the next week, Shiva Subramaniam Iyer's wife took me inside her kitchen and served me food with her own hands. So now one more incident is being shared over here, that how his science teacher took him and invited him for the dinner. He belonged to a very conservative family. His wife was also having an orthodox mindset. And when his wife came to know that he was a Muslim boy, at that time duration she refused to give the food. But the teacher didn't become angry on the wife, but he served himself and Abdul, and the wife was observing behind the curtains. And the teacher again invited him for the food for the next weekend. At that time, Abdul hesitated for a certain time duration, but his professor encouraged him by telling that once you had decided to change the system, such problems every one of us are supposed to confront. When the next time he went to the place of Shiva Subramaniam's Iyer's house, at that time the teacher's wife took him inside her kitchen and served him with the food. Then the Second World War was over and India's freedom was imminent. Indians will build their own India, declared Gandhiji. The whole country was filled with unprecedented optimism. I asked my father for permission to leave Rameshwaram and study at the district headquarters in Ramanathanpuram. He told me, as if thinking aloud, Abdul, I know. You have to go away to grow. Does the seagull not fly across the sun alone and without a nest? He quoted Khalil Gibran to my hesitant mother. Your children are not your children. They are the sons and daughters of life longing for itself. They come through you, but not from you. You may give them your love, but not your thoughts, for they have their own thoughts. So, after the World War II was over, Gandhiji declared that India was supposed to be an independent country from then onwards. So, at that time duration, Kalam also took a decision that he will go to the district school and he would pursue his education from there. At that time duration, his father told him that he knew that if a person wants to grow, then he is supposed to move away from the comfort zone, from his house, from his nest. At that time duration, Abdul Kalam's mother was a little bit hesitant. At that time duration, his father told that the children are not from you, but they are a part of you. You can love them immensely, but you cannot force them to think the way you think, because they are also an individual person and they also have their own thoughts and mindset. So let them choose whatever they want to become in their life. For them, what is best, they will search it out. And then the sky is the limit for their success. So, this is all about the chapter written by APJ Abdul Kalam, and this is an extract from Wings of Fire. This is all about today. Thank you for watching and have a nice day. If you still find any doubt or difficulties, you can comment down in the comment section below. Goodbye, everyone.